And now, for those with the benefit of flash photography, here's a 5-second pose. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen,
That's
to
old school.
the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. I am Matt Sensudi alongside Rob DePopovia, and the Darkwing himself, Brian Daly, is back, ladies and gentlemen.
They found me again.
Yes.
I got to start working on my hiding spots.
Yeah, when are you going to realize that we're always going to find you? You can never hide from us.
Just
when
I try.
And also, when you think that we're not watching, we are. We're like the government. We like to intrude on people's lives.
That's awkward.
I know. It was supposed to be. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We are brought to you by the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. All right, gentlemen. Well, a lot happened in the world of hockey, and particularly with the World Cup scenario, that a lot of players seem to be dropping out and seem to be dropping off like flies. Just like, forget it. I don't want to play in the World Cup. I'd rather get ready for the NHL. And speaking of that, we'll be talking about the Flyers training camp. But before we get to all of that, one thing we do have to address right now, since everybody and their mother's been talking about it since it was revealed, the Flyers' 50th anniversary sweaters. And needless to say, it was not what people expected. I think we could safely say that.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we have a blurb that was written about that, too, as a matter of fact, here on A2DRadio.com.
You know, in that blurb, it was referred to, and it'll be dropping later on today, that this jersey, according to one Jeremy Roenick, is bowling shoes ugly. I wouldn't go as far to say that. The first time I saw it, I was like, ugh. Right? But then as it's grown on me since then. I like how a lot of people hate the gold. I like the gold, and I'll tell you why. Because gold is, represents the 50th anniversary, so it's a nice correlation there. And I don't think it looks like the Pittsburgh Penguins jersey one iota.
Nope.
I mean, we talked a little bit before air. Maybe it's a little closer to the gold in Brian's team, the Anaheim Ducks, if anything, if you're comparing it to that. You're talking a jersey that's only going to be worn, fellas, like 10 games this year?
Yeah, they said something around 12.
And if you're comparing it to other alternate jerseys, I think this one goes leaps and bounds far better than the one that we saw in the mid-2000s during the Peter Forsberg era. That thing was bowling shoes ugly. This is not. And you know what? A lot of people say, I've also read that, Ed Snyder must be rolling over in his grave over the look of this jersey. He actually did approve the look of this jersey. It was one of the last things he did before he fell ill. So, I mean, this was the last seal of approval from Ed Snyder. You're going to piss on that, people? Or can you live with yourself? Can you sleep at night?
It's the same jackasses that question whether we knew what we were talking about or not.
Right.
So, it's always those trolls that sit out there on the internet thinking that they know something, when the truth is that they're just a dumb little shit. But anyway, when it comes to this jersey, I'll be honest with you, I'm indifferent to it. I don't think it's the be-all, end-all jersey, and I'm not saying that it's a great jersey. I'm just saying it's a jersey, at the end of the day. It's nothing to get too hung up on. I mean, is it the prettiest thing I've ever seen in the whole world? No, it doesn't have, any of the normal facets that you'd see in a Flyers jersey, but that's also something that should be approved of, like taking a chance, making a bold step. There's nothing wrong with taking a chance, you know? I mean, hell, people went almost rioting when they thought that the Philadelphia Flyers were going to be coming out at the Winter Classic against the New York Rangers dressed as the Philadelphia Quakers from way, way back in the 30s of the NHL history. Now, for those who have no idea what those jerseys look like, if you've ever gone to a Flyers game and you see those old Flyers jerseys that have like that baseball-like diagonal lettering, and you also see the stripes going down looking like a bumblebee at the end of the sleeve, that's the old Philadelphia Quakers jersey. And the Flyers, I think at first there was rumors going around they were going to show up in that, but then they changed it at the last minute, and then they went with the Winter Classic jersey that they decided to go with that year, which is better looking, I'm not going to lie. But This jersey, I can't really knock it, and I can't really say I love it. I just like it's a jersey. They took a bold step for the 50th anniversary. Does it work in all aspects? No. But does it work in some of the other aspects? It does a little. Like I said, I'm not saying that I love it. I'm not saying that I'm hating it. I'm in the middle here on this one.
I think I'm with you there, Matty. As far as being in the middle, I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't know if I like the gold. I think I would have liked to see the orange. I think the orange would add a little bit more pop to the jersey over the gold. But overall, I don't really have any complaints against this jersey. I mean, at least it's not the New York Islanders Gordon Fisherman uniforms from 1997.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the ugliest uniforms ever.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was a bad-looking jersey.
Well, see, I think what the league as a whole, and specifically maybe even Philadelphia Flyers fans in general, I mean, in specifics, are liking about this jersey is that it's a white alternate jersey. This league has really been lacking in, they go with the dark colors a lot for the home. This is more of like the away white jersey as an alternate. You don't see that, and I love how the Flyers decided to go that way. And also, interestingly enough, the Flyers chose to go with the black nameplate on the white jersey like they have on their road uniforms, only these have white letters outlined in gold, creating a tri-colored nameplate. I like that aspect, and the patch is gorgeous. That's what we saw. That was the first thing that we saw. I really like that, too.
Well, maybe, and this is just my idea, was maybe put the gold around the Flyers logo and just keep the orange maybe around the lettering and the numbers and go from there. Because, I don't know, to me, it's a little too much on the gold.
It's interesting because it's the total opposite of what you would expect the Flyers to do color scheme-wise, because they're taking a color that they relatively never would ever use in gold and putting it not just around the logo, which would make perfect sense for the 50th anniversary, but then they put it into the numbers and they put it into the lettering. That's, like I said, that's a bold step for them because usually the Flyers do not mess with their color scheme. They are like... There is orange, black, and white, and if you even remotely even think about diverting off that path, you will get the living crap kicked out of you by Flyers fans.
I do understand the goal behind it, though. Like, a lot of people are like, I don't understand the goal, blah, blah, blah. Like,
Well, it's for the 50th anniversary.
well, right, exactly.
It's not too hard.
It's like, what do they call it? They call it 50 years in marriage is what, the golden years?
I'm not sure.
Or the golden age or something like that?
It's a golden anniversary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I mean, like, I get that. I get that aspect. I don't know. I think the orange would make it pop a little bit more around the letters and stuff like that. The letters and numbers.
Yeah, I was actually – the funny part is, though, I was actually expecting them, like Rob was expecting them too. We were expecting them to actually bring back the old jerseys, like the ones they were wearing in the 90s, where they would have the orange stripe going all the way down the sleeve and have the white shirt with the smaller Flyers logo back in the CCM days where everything was baggy.
I thought that.
Back in the Lindros era.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that too. I wasn't sure where they were going, and then I heard rumors about them making it to be their alternate jersey from last year, but they're making it the opposite, making it more of a
white color.
A white color, yeah. Like they did similar to the one that they unveiled.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's interesting. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying I hate this jersey. I'm not saying that I love it. I'm just saying it's a jersey at the end of the day, and we're only going to see it, like you said, like 10 to 12 games. We're not going to see it for very long, and quite frankly, we'll probably never see it again after this year. I mean, with the way people have been bashing the hell out of it, I can't imagine the Flyers keeping it around after this season. I really can't.
I could see the Flyers maybe modifying it just a little bit, maybe to make it an alternate for next year.
Yeah,
possibly. I like it. I don't.
It depends
hate it,
on how it carries forth over the course of the season. I mean, I know when they unveiled the black jerseys in the late 90s, early 2000s, that was like a trial run maybe that season, and people loved the black jerseys, and they wound up lasting. I still have one, matter of fact. I wouldn't have minded. I mean, I like the white, not taken away from that point. Like that is something new and something the league had been clamoring for, but that would have been another good way to go too.
Yeah, I have two of the black jerseys still. I got my Peter Forsberg jersey and believe it or not, I have a Scotty Upshaw jersey, too.
Scotty Upshaw. Wow. That's back in the day, all right. Scotty Upshaw.
Yeah, because he's like 35 years old now. Jeez, where did the time go in him?
I don't even think – is he even still playing in the NHL? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I think he's in Florida.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's on Florida. That's right. I forgot. He's still playing with the Panthers. Holy cow. Wow. Upshaw's been everywhere, though.
Yes, he has.
Swear to God, I saw him in a Florida jersey now. I believe he played for – now, I could be wrong. I think he actually even played for Tampa at one point in time. I think Scotty even played for them at one point. But, yeah, Scotty's been everywhere for the longest time. But that is the Flyers' new 50th anniversary jersey. It'll be their third jersey this year, and we'll see if it carries over to future seasons. I personally don't think it will. I think that this jersey, because it's been bashed so much, I think we'll see it for those 10, 12 games, and then it will fade into obscurity a little bit. It'll become a collector's item for those jersey collectors out there and for those Flyers fans out there who are super crazy into them.
Last thing I want to say on it, I got to see it in person to know whether or not how much I actually truly like it, because a photo can only do so much.
That is true. Photo really doesn't do it justice unless you're actually looking at it. And hell, I mean, all we have to do is pretty much go either to the pro shop or go to not a sports store. I think they're going out of business. Or, go to a Dick's Sporting Goods and you'll probably find one there, By the way, not a sponsor. Anyway.
Go to Sports Outlet.
Go to Sports Outlet.
Go
to the Sports Outlet. And you want to know why? Because they've got all your sporting needs. And they are located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030. And you can email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com. Bang, bang. Anyway.
Bang. Shameless McFoley plug.
Yep. Right here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. So, now that we've talked about the Flyers' 50th anniversary jerseys, we're going to leave that. And by the way, you can read that blurb that will be dropped later today, as Rob was saying, if you want to know a little bit more on the opinions on people for the third jersey. And now we go to training camp. It is the most wonderful time of the year, isn't it, gentlemen?
It really is, yeah.
Hockey season is getting ready. You can feel that chill, that fall chill in the air. I'll tell you right now.
That's the AC.
Well, okay, thank you for ruining that effect. Anyway, but for the last couple of days, man, nighttime has been awesome. It's not been humid. It's been that perfect mixture of both cool and hot, and it's perfect. I love it. I love it when it gets to this time of the year. And hockey is getting ready to get started. Training camp's going to open soon, and the Flyers are getting ready to jump right on in. And obviously, everyone's been talking about what are we going to expect, what the rumors are going to come true most likely. Obviously, we know who's not playing because they're going to be playing in the World Cup, which would particularly be Claude Giroux, Jake Voracek, Sean Couturier, as well as Belmar, of all people. They are going to be competing in the World Cup, and Gudas is not, and we'll get to that in a minute. But what are we expecting in this training camp this year? What are you guys feeling like we're going to see?
I think it's going to be highly competitive because there's going to be a lot of young players really pushing to be on that roster. And the more the veterans on the team are going to have to prove that they deserve to keep their jobs. I really do. I think it's going to be high octane. We saw that in Dave Hochstall's first training camp where he really picked up the pace, the intensity that this team saw underneath Craig Berube. I expect that to continue. There's going to be no question that this team is in athletic shape for the start of the 2016-17 season.
I agree. You're going to see a lot of competitiveness from these younger guys. You're not going to have guys like Giroux and Voracek in training camp, so that's going to open it up a little bit more for the younger guys to really get noticed. So, guys like Matt Reed are going to be in fear of losing their spot. Sean Couturier, guys like that, guys who have shown inconsistency over the last few years. These young guys are biting at the bit. And you're going to see more of it now that some of these other guys are off playing for the World Cup.
Yeah.
It's going to be more what's the word?
Competitive?
No.
High impact?
No. Oh my God, this is running.
Adrenaline?
This is starting to boil over from FDN.
Yeah,
Turbo-driven?
I was about to say.
My final one, Nintendo Power.
Sure, we'll go with
All right.
Nintendo Power.
All right. Why? Because we got the power. Nintendo Power. Anyway, moving on.
Love that magazine.
Those who had an NES back in the day, we all love you. Anyway, moving on. So I'm expecting to see a lot more of that speed, that adrenaline like we were talking about, guys. And not only that, I'm expecting to see a huge step up from not just the prospects we expect to make big noise, like obviously your Travis Konechny's, your Ivan Provorovs. We'll see that no matter what. I'm really interested to see what we're going to see from the other prospects that we've somewhat forgotten, like Robert Hogg, as well as Samuel Moran, Travis Sanheim. I know no one's really forgotten them, but you kind of put them on the back burner when you see Travis Konechny for the first time, and you're like, Jesus, why isn't he on the team now? And then same thing with Ivan Provorov. We're also going to see German Rubstov for the first time in a Flyers jersey, at least in the training camp. We'll see how he works out in this system for the first time just to see what he can do. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do because I know we're going to get a lot from Travis Konechny and Ivan Provorov. I'm just hoping that the other prospects are going to continue that pace and keep up with them.
And don't forget about Nicholas Ob-Kubel as
well.
well. We talked about him a lot last week.
A lot of people are forgetting about Wade Allen, who was just drafted this year in 2016. He was supposed to be a first-round pick, and he dropped all the way down to, third?
Yeah.
Third or fourth when the Flyers finally picked him?
And
they expect big things out of that kid.
And think about it. The Flyers drafted a couple of guys in late rounds, and they became superstars. And those two superstars, Mike Richards and Jeff Carter.
Yeah.
Need I say more?
Right.
All late-round picks, and look what they did.
Not listed as a top prospect, but I think it's because of the late-round drafting and how it could be a real wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm with you, Brian.
Yeah, I mean, they expect him to do big things in the NHL. He was supposed to be a first-round pick, a top pick, but I don't know what happened with this kid as far as maybe the prospect tournament went and all this other and whatever else they do. He dropped to third.
But that's okay because you know what? It allows that pressure, that spotlight. It's not on him. People forget about him. People, like we said, Brian brought him up. And we forgot I forgot about him, actually. Perfect example of just, sneaky. A little sneaky from Fantasy Dominance. You bring in somebody that you least expect, and next thing you know, he's lighting the lamp up, and you're like, well, I think we got ourselves a future leader on this team once again.
And he's a right winger, too, which the Flyers desperately need.
Nice. I love it. I love it. More wingers, and more wingers. We need them. We need all of them. So, with that being said, we're expecting to see a lot of high octane in offense and a lot of speed. And that's the key word here is speed. The Flyers have lacked it for so long that we've forgotten what speed is out there on the ice. When Shane Gostisbehere is skating, you might as well figure he's in a turbine engine because the kid is faster than almost everybody on the team.
Right.
That is the exciting part of it. We're going to see these young kids develop. These young kids get going and using all of their skill sets and getting better. That's what I'm expecting to see. Now, obviously, we're going to come back to this later on in the show, and I know a lot of people are thinking about, but are any of them going to make the team? I'm going to leave this with you guys right now. No, none of them are making the team, and here's the reason why. We don't have the space. I wish we did. I wish we had a spot on the roster. I wish we had the salary cap to do it. But we can thank good old Paul Holmgren, that piece of crap, for getting us in half of these bad deals that we wound up. Now, Hextall also did make a couple of errors in judgment in his own right. And we'll talk about one when we come back to that in Rocco Gudis, in my opinion. We'll talk about that in a quick second. But we're not going to see them this year. But we can at least enjoy the fact that we're getting younger.
I don't know how you could say that confidently, Matt.
What, with Rocco Gudis?
No, that we're not going to see any of these guys this year. I know in terms of salary cap space, that is a big contributing factor, but has the season started yet?
No.
Look at what the Eagles are doing less than, 6 days away, trading Eric Rowe. We don't know what's going to happen with the salary cap situation during this trading camp. I wouldn't be surprised to see them moving like a Mark Streit and making room for a Samuel Moran, who I think is the elder of a lot of people are clamoring for Travis Sanheim, Ivan Provorov, but Samuel Moran is, I believe, a year or two older than them. So I don't know. I'm not saying don't say no yet. That's all I'm saying. I agree with your rationale, but I think especially if a guy has an outstanding training camp, you'll find a way. You have to find a way.
So, in your opinion, never say never.
Never say never. That's all I'm saying.
I hope you're right.
Just because they don't break camp on the roster doesn't mean they're not going to be on that roster before season's end either.
And that's another thing that I was going to say. Mid-season time, if Hextall pulls off a major, and we were expecting that on the expectations as well on the last show, I expect a mid-season deal from Ron Hextall. We saw it last year. I expect to see the same thing this year to kind of trim some of that fat away and give us some room for some of these young guys. I am expecting that. But that is the beginning of our Flyers camp talk. I hope you all felt a little teased, because that was the point, because we will be coming back to that later on in the show. But we got to go around the league. Yes, we're going to drag you kicking and screaming. We got the World Cup of Hockey to talk about. We got some stuff that's going on around the league that Robbie will be bringing up, and that'll be on the other side. But before we go, like we said before, we talked about the sports outlet, but now I want to talk to you guys about Liberty Event Rentals. Why? Because if you got an event coming up, they're the guys you want to go to. They got tables, chairs, linens, tents. But if you want them to throw away your garbage, they won't do that. But they will set up for you, and they'll even take it back down. That's a pretty good deal right there. And if you want to get in contact with them, you can give them a call, 267-314-7368. You can locate them at 2154 East Cambria Street in Philadelphia, PA. Or you can visit them on the web at www.libertyeventrentals.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are the Hockey Happy Hour, and we will be right back here on A2DRadio.com. But first, here's a message from our sponsors. A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet, located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey, with over 40 years of customer experience giving the latest in uniforms and equipment to sports enthusiasts of baseball, softball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, and much more. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or send them an email at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit their website at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all of your sporting needs.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215 369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com. Hey, do you consider yourself the next Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, or Jordan Spieth? Well, head on out on November 5th at Valley Brook Country Club in Blackwood, New Jersey for A2DRadio.com's first ever Real Talk Invitational. $125 per person to enter, teams up to 4 members, and it includes all you can eat and drink, and contests including longest drive, putting competition, closest to the pin, and the hole-in-one contest. Once again, it's November 5th at Valley Brook Country Club in Blackwood, New Jersey. The guys here at A2DRadio.com hope to see you there.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. Freak out, freak out. You want to know why? Because BMW of Atlantic City has challenged its sales team. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save. Right now, lease a certified pre-owned elite 2016 BMW 320i with xDrive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City. Easy to get, 2 minutes off of exit 37 of the Parkway. You can give them a call at 609-568-9200, or you can visit them on the web at www.bmwofatlanticcity.com.
Nice.
.com. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. And it is time for us to go around the league. And I think it's only fair that we let our one and only Mr. Pove, Rob Povia, take us away with some of the findings and happenings that have been going on around the NHL.
I gladly accept them. We'll salute you like Jaromir Jagr just scored a goal.
Nice.
So, first of all, I want to start off with the Boston Bruins. They signed veteran forward Dominic Moore and 3 others to one-year contracts. Of course, the big name here is Dominic Moore. He inked a 1-year, one-way contract with Boston for $900K. The 36-year-old forward spent his last 3 seasons with New York Rangers, but announced earlier in the offseason he would not be re-signing with the Rangers, and thus he goes to the Boston Bruins.
I mean, it's interesting, but you know what? It makes sense. You want to know why? The Rangers are just starting to kind of revamp a little bit here with getting Mika Zibanejad and the rest of them. What I think he's trying to do is he's trying to realize that Boston is trying to get younger and they're a little bit more further in the process. It's a smart move on his part going to Boston. Because,
I think so.
Don't get me wrong, the Rangers will probably make the playoffs. Boston will have to compete for a wild card spot most likely. But Boston is still trying. They're a little bit couple of steps further in their rebuilding process with the getting of the draft picks that they got, getting the young rooks that they've gotten on their team as well, and just trying to get guys like Torrey Krug going for, the future, moving forward.
I mean, I like the move by Boston. Dominic Moore is a solid guy. He's still young. You're signing him to a probably a low-end deal. And on top of it, he's a decent third or fourth line player that, honestly, I think Boston might be missing.
I agree with everything you said except the young part. I mean, he's 36.
Is he?
Yeah.
What am I thinking? Oh, you know what? What's his name from the Rangers is probably who I'm thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
Hang on. I'll find it.
Look it up.
I'm going to look it up.
Look it up. Look it up as I tell you about the Winnipeg Jets. They have a new captain, and his name is Blake Wheeler. Mark Scheffel and Dustin Byfuglien will serve as alternates, or what? Butt Puglin? Is that what you nicknamed him off there?
I named him something a little bit more colorful than that, but yeah, we'll go with that for the time being.
So there's a little leadership hierarchy there in Winnipeg, who has an outstanding fan base and are looking forward to a successful 2016-17 campaign. And this is a great one, sort of like bridging the gap into the World Cup of hockey talk. Green Day is going to headline the World Cup of Hockey Fan Village celebration on September 23rd.
Cool. Nice.
We like a Green Day.
Who doesn't like Green Day? Wow, apparently
don't.
one.
I used to. I loved Green Day back in the day, and then after the Warning album,
Yeah.
When was that? That was in the early 2000s, right? When they came out with Warning, I think it was.
yeah, it was like the early 2000s, and then
Yeah.
American Idiot came out, and from there they just went downhill.
I actually thought they went downhill with the 21st century. What was it? 21st Century Breakdown or something like that. I think it was 21st Century Love Story. I forget what it was called. 21st Century something, and I thought that album sucked. With-
Yeah, that was a bad album. And it's John Moore.
John Moore,
John
yeah.
Moore is who I was thinking of.
Gotcha. He's a lot younger.
He's on the Devils.
Yep. Gotcha. Yeah. Now, when it comes to Green Day, yeah, Dookie was one of the best albums of all time. I mean, I liked American Idiot, but yeah, 21st Century, yeah.
I didn't like that one. Yeah.
And then like the next album they came out in like 3 different parts or something like that.
Yeah, something
and
like
they
that.
all tied together.
Yeah, it was Uno, Dos, and Tres.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I actually never listened to them because after that album, I was like, no,
It's like
not
Dookie,
anymore.
Dookie, Nimrod,
Yeah, Nimrod was a good album, too.
Nimrod was good. Yeah.
Warning, and then there was one before Dookie that had Brainstool on. I can't remember the name
Oh,
of
it was
the album name. The album cover's in my head.
was it called Kaleidoscope? No, I don't think it was
Maybe.
called Kaleidoscope. It was called something, and it had like really weird looking image of someone like getting like an eye exam on the front of the cover.
Brainstew was on that album, and that was like Green Day when they were like. To me, that's Green Day at their peak. It's Green Day at their best.
Kerplunk?
Maybe that was
No,
it.
is that a single?
Okay, that's it. Insomniac.
There you go.
There we go. 1995 when that
went right past
album,
that, yeah.
Insomniac.
Yeah, but
And
like
you're
that
right,
was
21st Century Breakdown, by the way.
Cool, I was right.
Sorry, buddy.
Wow, on the first try too. Nice.
no, it's all good. It's that's Green Day at their peak. They just sold out, and they got way too political.
Oh, well, that was bound to happen anyway because of the fact that, they're a punk band. Punk bands usually go political most of the time. That's kind of how punk does. It's their shtick,
I
basically.
mean, Linkin Park did the same thing.
Oh, and I can't stand Linkin Park.
I can't say that.
I cannot stand Linkin Park. I think Chester Bennington is an idiot, personally.
Last news and note, this is for all you fantasy hockey players out there, and I'm sure we'll be getting into it, Brian, on FDN in the coming weeks.
Can't wait.
NHL.com released their fantasy hockey top 200 player rankings for September. So you can take a look at it now, and then as the fantasy hockey season comes upon us, you tune in to FDN, and we'll give you our own rankings.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
And then I'll come back and win my division again and not lose to Mr. Rob Povia in the first round of the playoffs.
That was funny. That
Yes.
was funny. Good times.
Good
times.
Stupid Corey Crawford.
But enough about victory. Let's get back to moving on to another topic of discussion. Rob?
At this point, we're going right into the famous players that are dropping out of the World Cup of Hockey, like a gnat that's had too much of fruit and is just dropping out. I want to start with Team Czech Republic. You have Thomas Hertl and the aforementioned Ratko Gudas. They will miss the World Cup due to injuries. And then also a third and more formidable Team Czech Republic player, Boston Bruins forward David Krejci, will not play for Team Czech Republic at the World Cup of Hockey 2016 as he battles back from surgery on his hip that he had that in February.
And you know what? Thought just occurred to me. You want to know why Boston re-signed Dominic Moore? They're not 100% safe on Krejci.
Yeah.
Think about it. David
Probably not.
Krejci still not 100%. He's clearly not going to be. So he's out of the World Cup. Boston's thinking, you know what? We might need some help on there. Krejci being a veteran, we can go with Moore if need be. And not only that, if Krejci winds up being 100%, you got Moore and Krejci. So it's a win-win scenario for you if you go and sign Dominic Moore. It makes perfect sense why they do that now.
Interesting tidbit for you guys since Rob brought up the Team Czech Republic. Right winger Yuri Hudler is not on that roster and has no intention on playing in that tournament. I don't know if you guys knew that.
That's actually
He has zero interest in being in the World Cup tournament.
that's interesting.
I'm taking my ball or my puck in this case and going home.
Basically, I think he might be considering retirement. I mean, we're getting close to training camp.
Yeah.
He's 34 years old. He's still young enough. He can still play. He still put up numbers.
Well, either he's planning on doing retirement or he's planning on leaving the NHL.
It's got to be because I'm sure teams have reached out to him. Yuri Hudler's not that guy that's just going to be like, it's Yuri Hudler. Let's pass on him.
No, you
He
don't
can
do
help
that
a
with
team.
Yuri Hudler. Yeah, he can absolutely help a team. But you know what? I don't think he's going to retire. You know what I think? I think he's going to the KHL.
Think he's going to play with Pavel?
I think he's going to go play with Pavel, yeah. I honestly think he will because you know what? Why would he hold out?
They played together in Detroit.
Yep, and why would he hold out unless he has every intention of not coming back, you know?
Unless he's weighing options here. I mean, he could have offers on the table from the NHL and the KHL trying to figure out which is best for his family.
True, but that all depends on him, you know? I mean, Yuri Hudler deciding not to play in the World Cup. I mean, in a lot of ways, I think that's a smart move on his part because even if he was to sign with an NHL team, he's guaranteed to play and not get hurt. So I think that that's a good thing in that regard. So I think in his eyes, he's dodging a bullet. But for him not being on an NHL team, that kind of seems a little suspicious in my opinion that he might be willing to say, you know what, I'm leaving. I'm going to the KHL.
It's possible.
And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's got that thought in the back of his head of doing it.
I wouldn't blame him for wanting to go play with the Magic Man again.
Yeah, that's true. And hell, if Kovalchuk could leave a deal that he basically soaked the New Jersey Devils for and go play in the KHL, which was awesome because New Jersey wound up taking a nasty nosedive because of it, which was cool. And he could leave and go to the KHL, anybody could go to the KHL at this point in time. Anybody. So that's interesting. A lot of players are not playing. And as for Team Czech Republic, this ain't looking good for them right now. I mean,
really
let's face it, they didn't really stand a chance going into the tournament anyway.
yeah, I mean, this is a really nasty,
underdogs,
nasty situation for them. I mean, I know they may not be as bad as Team Finland, but they could very easily may have just become as bad as Team Finland. Because think about what you just lost. You lost Gudis. Yeah, Gudis is not as skilled of a player as you would say the other two are, but he is definitely a big body that can throw the weight around if you need somebody to stop a play, if you need someone to get in the way of a shot, if you need someone to kind of lighten things up a little bit and let the play go.
Right. Oh, no, absolutely, man. I finally got that information about David Krejci. Yeah, he had left hip surgery April 25th, and so he's expected to need 5 months to recover, and we're right about at that time frame. So, it's saying that he's a little bit behind in his recovery process. So not only is the World Cup compromised, also maybe the beginning of the Bruins season. So just tying to your point with Dominic Moore that you made stellarly before, that's a big thing. Now, Thomas Hertl, the injury that's plaguing him won't keep him away from the San Jose Sharks lineup, albeit it'll keep him out of the World Cup. Just want to get back to that article real quick here. All these news and notes coming in for the World Cup of Hockey. But, Ratko Gudas suffered the wrist injury while training for the World Cup of Hockey. So it wasn't like he was just, jerking off, so to speak, literally and figuratively. He was training to compete in this World Cup, and that's when he got that injury. But, Thomas Hertl, he will not play. He'll be ready for the start of the season. He's all they're saying is lower body injury.
I got some little bit of breaking news here.
Oh, boy.
Team Europe has named their captain.
And who is that?
Kings forward Anze Kopitar.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Makes sense. I mean, it makes complete sense why they would do that.
They must have known that we were talking about it, and they're like, we're going to send this out now.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course they knew. We're on the same wavelength as Team Europe. Too bad we don't want them to win. Anyway.
Lower body injury, yep. Mm-hmm.
One thing I do want to say right now is that I'm really pissed off about Ratko Gudas getting hurt. And this is my major reason why. Screw the Czech Republic. I could care less about the World Cup. What the hell is that going to do for the Flyers? Because this isn't just, it's a day-to-day injury. It's not something that's going to keep him out permanently at any point. But you know what? Seasons go. Injuries become worse. And you know what? Gudis might be out for an extended period of time. Now, this may benefit us in one way. This might allow us to get somebody up there that we've been wanting to see for a little while. But you know what? That angers me because we just signed him to a contract. Not a short contract, by the way, and with a little bit of decent money we gave him. And he goes and gets himself hurt. You know, I don't...
Training for the World Cup.
Yeah, training for the World Cup, not even for training camp.
Right.
You know, it's just, come on, man. Like, that pisses me off.
So
like,
you're saying the World Cup's not important?
Well, it's only important to, you know, our guys who are on our team. You know, you see, you know, just the American side on that one. I could care less about that. You know,
I'm giving you a hard time, but I'm giving you a hard time with a reason, man, because that's what comes up in whether these players participate in these international competitions. Here's the bad effect. While training for it or while playing in it, they get hurt, and then it affects their organization that's paying them a lot of money to play. So that always raises that discussion, should professionals play in international competition?
And I'm with you. I shouldn't say I'm with you. I don't think they should. International competition should be made for amateurs. If you're a pro and you're putting yourself at risk to potentially maybe, God forbid this ever happens, a career-ending injury playing in an international game that you're not getting paid for, that really screws over your organization. And they're not going to be happy with you.
Yeah, and particularly this really hurts the Flyers, and this could hurt the Flyers in the long run. I would just say cautionary reasons for all the Flyers fans out there. Keep your eyes on Gudis by every stretch of the imagination. You're not going to see him in the World Cup. You might see him in the preseason. You might. Not definite on that one. But no matter what, if the regular season comes around and he is still injured and he's a healthy scratch at the beginning of the year, I'm going to be really pissed off because there's no reason why we should have wasted that much money on someone who got himself hurt.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, look at the bright side. At least he got hurt training for an international event and not getting hurt because he got drunk at a Bruce Springsteen concert with teammate Jake Voracek. So look at the bright side there.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, there's that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Voracek does like the boss, too. Good reference, by the way.
He does. And the only reason why I knew he was there is because I saw that video.
And for you younger viewers, I'm talking about Bruce Springsteen, not Sasha Banks. Go ahead.
Although we do like her, I will say. We do like that
Oh, yeah,
boss
we're big
too.
fans. We're
Yes,
big
we do.
fans.
But I'm just saying, at least he it's a hockey-related injury. It wasn't anything out of the blue like Claude Giroux breaking his finger playing golf or getting arrested doing whatever he did to that poor Mountie in Ottawa or wherever he was when he got
Grab
arrested.
ass.
You know, Claude Giroux, he's got a little bit of that fanciness inside of him, you know, just a wee bit.
Just a little bit. So a couple other news and notes around this World Cup of Hockey. This is going to interest Brian Daly very much. So Corey Perry is named to Team Canada World Cup roster, replacing injured forward Jeff Carter.
Good. You take out a king, you put in a duck. That's what he should be. No, seriously though, with the, that sounded terrible.
That's the pecking order in the Pacific.
It really is though. Corey Perry should have been on that roster from the get-go. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. There's no reason for him to have been left off that roster.
True enough.
Well, it was just them trying to make the LA Kings feel good about themselves, you know, despite the fact they got Jonathan Quick, who's most likely starting for Team USA.
How do you the Kings just won 2 cups in the last, 4 years? 5 years?
Yeah, but you know how it is. Once the NHL finds somebody that wins on multiple cups, they want to pat them on the ass and treat them like, you know, they're gold. Like the Chicago Blackhawks, for instance. Or the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah, I haven't forgot about you bastards. Anyway.
Moving on, Vincent Trocheck of the Panthers is named the Team North America World Cup roster, replacing Sean Monahan. That's a huge loss for Team North America.
Ooh.
And it goes to show.
Signing a 7-year contract with Calgary, too.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. Now, it goes to show maybe that's the Flames taking care of that investment potentially, but it goes to show that Team North America, and I highlighted this last week, how stacked their roster is with young talent, and that they're my dark horse in this tournament. But it goes to show that as deep as their current roster that was selected, if somebody gets hurt or somebody's out, then you drop down to a Vincent Trocheck, which is a huge drop-off, whereas Team Canada went from Jeff Carter to Corey Perry, which is maybe even an improvement. So, maybe I'm a little shaky on that North America pick right now, but I'm still sticking by my guns.
I mean, that is a tough loss. I mean, when you look at it from all angles with Team North America, Sean Monahan getting, injured at the last minute, this really does hurt North America. But I think they'll rebound from that. I don't think it's going to kill their chances in the tournament by any stretch of the imagination. It is going to leave a little bit of lacking. You do want Sean Monahan if you had the choice. For Calgary, this is horrible news because they could ill afford any of their young players to be hurt at this point in time. But that's unfortunate, you know.
Right.
And again, we can debate this forever. Should pros play in international competition?
And last news and note, Team Europe goalie Frederick Anderson is out of the World Cup with an upper body injury.
They actually did name his replacement, and that's Jacob Grubauer from Washington.
Yeah.
Grubauer's in Washington?
Yeah, he's in Washington. He's the backup. We never see him.
That's why I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's why we never. Yeah, that's why. Oh, poor Grubauer. Hey, maybe he'll get some playing time. Hey, maybe he'll be that dark horse that pulls it out through the Team Europe. I'm sorry, I can't get through that without laughing because I know who the other two guys are. So when you got Thomas Greiss and Yaroslav Halak, you're not seeing no playing time.
You said Philip Grubauer, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's good.
Wait, did I say? I think I messed up his first name, but Grubauer.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, we're not going to see him.
We're
not going to see him.
Like I said, I got the last name right. We never see him play anyway. So how am I?
Yeah,
supposed to
I know.
his name?
It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
When you're behind Braden Holtby, what do you expect? Anyway, so when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get right back into our talk on the Flyers and their training camp scenario. That was a little run through on the topics in there. Thank you, Rob. And when we come back, it's time for a Twitter poll and more training camp talk. But first, I want to talk to you guys about a little thing that's going on for A2D Radio, and that's called the Real Talk Invitational. It's happening at the Valley Brook Country Club, and it'll be located in Blackwood, New Jersey at 200 Gulfview Drive. You can give them a call at 856-227-3171. You can order your tickets through our events page at Facebook at a2dradio.com. It'll be all you can eat and drink, $125 per person, and guess what? The whole A2D Radio crew will be there, so you can have a good time with all of us, and it's all you can eat and drink, and plenty of competitions to go around. So,
with this crowd, it'll be a good time.
Oh, it's going to be a roar.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee it. So, folks, when we come back, more training camp talk. But first, we'd like to present this to you from our sponsors here at a2dradio.com.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
Hey, do you consider yourself the next Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, or Jordan Spieth? Well, head on out on November 5th at Valley Brook Country Club in Blackwood, New Jersey for 82dradio.com's first ever Real Talk Invitational. 125 per person to enter, teams up to 4 members, and it includes all you can eat and drink and contests including longest drive, putting competition, closest to the pin, and the hole-in-one contest. Once again, it's November 5th at Valley Brook Country Club in Blackwood, New Jersey. The guys here at h2dradio.com hope to see you there.
Oh, hell yeah! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. I am Matt Sassuti alongside Robert Popovia and Brian Daly, and we are brought to you by none other than Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accountants, located at 301 Oxford Valley Road in Yardley, PA. You give them a call, 215-369-3300. Not the same effect as the .com, but oh well.
No.
Yeah, but oh well. Can't be successful every time.
I applaud your efforts, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. And
Somebody appreciates you there, Maddie.
No, yeah. Yeah. I know I'm not getting it from the producer. Nope. So, you know. But anyway, for the fans, we have decided to, of course, as always, give out our Twitter poll. And our Twitter poll this year was Flyer-centric. This week. This year. It's always Flyer-centric every year. But anyway, this one is Flyer-centric. And it is who will most likely make the opening day roster. And Rob, what was our Twitter poll results?
The Twitter poll results with how overwhelming 84%. Ivan Provorov is the prospect that has the best chance of making the regular season roster. I know he's the most hyped people, and I'm not saying I disagree with your point of view, but you're talking about a 19-year-old. Remember that. You know, some of the other guys we have on this list, Robert Hogg, Travis Sanheim, Travis Konechny. Well, Konechny's 20, but you got Sanheim that's 21, Robert Hogg that's 21, and a guy that we cleverly left off this Twitter poll, Samuel Moran. We were trying to get people to clamor like, what about Samuel Moran? What about Samuel Moran? He, in my opinion, should be on this team. He's a heavy hitter. He's old enough. Let's go. Let's rock it out. But, of course, Hextall's got to make some adjustments salary cap-wise before we see any of these players. But yeah, Provorov got 84%. Konechny got 11%. Sanheim got the other 5% as Hogg got 0 votes.
Wow. People forgot all about Robert Hogg, didn't they?
Yeah.
I bet you they don't even realize he's still on the Phantoms.
Right.
I don't even think people realize it. He's still playing for the AHL team.
Where were all the trolls saying, like, Robert Hogg's not even a Flyer anymore? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he actually is. He's just playing on the Phantoms.
Yep.
Anyway.
This week's Twitter poll was being brought to you by the BMW of Atlantic City dealership. They challenged its sales team. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save. Right now, lease a certified pre-owned elite 2016 BMW 320i with X-Drive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City, easy to get to, minutes off of exit 37 on the Garden State Parkway, or check them out online, bmwatlanticcity.com. There you go.
I'm disappointed
What?
with that Twitter result.
Oh.
Come on.
I guess you completely disagree with Ivan Provorov having the best shot.
But the only reason I disagree with it is because there's no spot for him.
And again, that alludes to my point right there. There is no room. We just don't have it. I would love to see these guys on this team. Hell, I'd love to see even Hogg on this damn team. But you know what? We just don't have the space for them right now.
There's already 7 guys ahead of him.
Yeah.
And it's a shame to say it, but there is. You got the 6 starters, And then T.J. Brennan.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot we got him in the offseason. Oh, that's funny.
Jersey boy.
No, nothing.
From Morristown.
I'm not.
Yes, he is.
No, I'm not against him.
I'm not saying. I wasn't saying that. I was just kind of,
Yeah, no, keeping it real.
Yep.
Representing Motown. Motown Quakers.
Of the guys, hold on, real quick.
Sure.
Of the guys on the Twitter poll, Konechny has the best shot, and I'll tell you why. Because there's actually a need for his scoring ability.
There is.
There's holes on the offensive side of the puck. He has right now. I believe he has more upside than any of the other defensemen that we have down there right now.
And talking about speed, he would certainly, as this training camp is going to be chock full of speed, as you said in the beginning of the show, why not bring that into the regular season?
Exactly. The Flyers need the scoring depth.
Now,
They don't have much.
But the thing is, though, with Travis Konechny is because he's still a junior player and he hasn't finished his junior run yet. The only thing that would come into play here is if the Flyers want to keep him for that extended period of time or that trial period, because those are two rules to junior players. Your trial period is your 1 to 10 games where a season doesn't get taken off their contract and their entry level hasn't kicked in yet. Once you get past that mark, that's when their deal actually kicks in, and then they start going to the cap. So that's the biggest issue that they run into with Travis Konechny. For 1 to 10 games, it doesn't matter. But once you get to that 10th game, his salary hits the cap.
Well, I mean, again, we tricked the people. We used Provorov for the thumbnail, and I think a consensus here on this panel is that Konechny has a more favorable shot than Provorov. I mean, people are high on Provorov because you look at his minor league, his stats in the OTT of the WHL. 21 goals, 52 assists, a plus 64 with 16 penalty minutes in 62 regular season games. This is why there's such a clamor for Ivan Provorov.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with wanting him on the team. But it's just you got to look at it realistically from the side that Hextall's looking at it from. That he sees we just don't have the ability to put him up there. Not only that, being 19 years old, like Rob was pointing out, that's not something to kind of just forget. Being 19 years old, we've seen guys who've come right out of the draft onto the Flyers roster. Last one was Sean Couturier. Look how that's turning out right now. Now, is that all his fault? Maybe not all of it. A lot of it also has to do with the fact that we fired Pierre Laviolette, and then we brought in Craig Berube. That didn't last. And now we've got Dave Haxtell. But still, there has to be something for saying that he hasn't been able to adjust his game in these last few years.
As far as Couturier goes, being injured all the time doesn't help.
That too.
But for Provorov, if he does make the roster, he might not be able to. He might not be playing every day.
No, and like I said before, it's again you also have to take into account with the junior rule. You can't ignore the fact of that trial period, and then after you pass 40 games, that's a season taken off of their entry level deal.
Right.
So you have to take all of that into account when you're making a move for a junior player.
Yep.
I wasn't thinking along the lines of that for Provorov, but. It all makes sense, but I was thinking more along the lines of he's 19 years old. He needs to get consistent play, and he needs to continue to grow as a player. If he's going to be sitting up in the press box not playing, what good is that going to do for him?
Right. Kind of the Scott Lawton effect that we saw. Even though he was on the ice, he was playing in the lower six, didn't get that regular playing time that he was seeing with the Fams. And there was even a clamor of maybe send him down the Fams so he could play every day because Scott Lawton could be a great asset to this team. Maybe not as much as Konechny, but maybe like if that's a 1A, then there's a 1B right there.
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that this kid is going to help this Flyers team one day. It might not be this year, might not be next year, but when he's ready, he's going to have the proper seasoning in the AHL or the juniors or wherever he winds up after training camp, and he's going to do some good things for this club as well as Sanheim, Moran when he finally gets his shot, Hogg when he finally gets his shot, and the guys that just got drafted this past offseason.
And to your point, Brian, in terms of comparing Provorov to Konechny, right? He too put up lots of great stats between the Ottawa 67s and the Sarnay Sting as they got him in a midseason trade. Total 60 regular season games between the two teams, scored 30 goals, 71 assists, was a plus 33 with 27 penalty minutes. The writing's on the wall. I want him on this power play line. I want him on this team. Find a way, Hextall. Find a way.
I don't think it's going to be hard with the offense that they have right here.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's all about salary cap.
Well,
really.
yeah, that's another issue too.
Again, though, I will say this. Now, unfortunately, this won't affect Travis Konechny because once he goes back to the juniors, he cannot come back. But, mid-season, keep your eyes on that. Mid-season, trade deadline rolls around, and you see those teams that are trying to make that push for the playoffs. Now, I'm not saying we won't be one of those teams competing because we will be.
Mm-hmm.
But Hextall could easily just say, hey, Mark Streit, he's considering retirement. They could BS anybody all they want and say he's considering retirement because he probably is. They don't know that he's not going to retire, though.
38, 39 years old.
So you can just say, hey, listen, this guy wants to make a really good run. He can soak up some of your time on the defensive end. Have him. Take him. We don't want him anymore. He's a good player, but he's too old for us at this point in time, where we're at. And then you could also say, hey, you want Matt Reed too? Because quite frankly, he's a waste of space for all he's worth at this point in time. Get rid of Matt Reed too. God. Put him, you know what? That also pisses me off when I see Matt Reed out on the ice. A guy who has talent, but he can't use it. I don't know what it is with him. What happened? Like, I know Craig Berube's system didn't fit everybody, but you know what? Dave Hackstoll's here. You have no excuse anymore. So don't tell me that your talent isn't there, because that's bullshit. I saw your talent 2 years ago. We saw it in 2012. We saw it the year after that. Don't tell me he doesn't have talent, because that's a load of horse crap, and we know it. But he pisses me off because every year he finds a new way of just not doing anything and just sitting on there being a body, like R.J. Umberger, but he had an excuse. He was old and he sucked. I'm sorry, but that had to be said, because you know what? When I see talent like that that's completely wasteful, and you see this young talent like Travis Konechny and we don't have the room for him, that angers me.
Yeah,
that angers me.
Yeah,
Could always send them down.
True,
He doesn't really affect the Flyers cap as much if you send him down.
True,
and you could potentially make room for Konechny.
Yeah, you save money.
You could.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I have nothing wrong with that possibility, and hopefully he has a deal where he could get claimed off waivers. So, someone else could say, hey, make him be your headache for the rest of the freaking year.
Right.
We don't want him anymore. Like, seriously. And I know people are like, maybe you're giving up on him. It's like, I've given up on him for obvious reasons. He has absolutely disappointed me. Sean Couturier is getting close to it, too, by the way. He's getting real close.
To me, Sean Couturier project's over. You need to move on from him.
Yeah, there's just guys that are just absolutely atrocious on this team that need to go.
Believe it or not, Reed will earn a base salary of $4 million this season and has a cap hit of $3,625,000. So you'd be saving a substantial amount of money.
That is disgusting.
He's on a 4-year deal.
Disgusting to see that much money going.
This
to
is what the second his third year under contract, or is this his fourth?
This will be his third year.
Third year.
Yeah, he signed. He will be an unrestricted free agent in 2018-19.
But that's that with some of the talent that we have in the prospects and what we're going to see here on this training camp. What it's going to be really interesting to see is if they could, by mid-year, maybe finagle a deal here or there, make some room, because not only does that help for getting a young guy up for mid-season, and then we'll figure out where we're at, if we're competitive or not by that point in time, and not only that, it also makes room for next year as well. Because that way you can then look at it from, okay, we don't need somebody to plug a hole at this minute. We can take our time. We can find out who truly is ready and who gets that spot at the end of the day.
Right.
It wasn't as easy as when we had Shane Gostisbehere. We clearly knew that he had to come up immediately the moment that the situation arose for him to come up.
Well, I mean, if it's not a question of salary cap and it's purely based on Hextall, whether he feels a player is particularly ready or not, he's got some other prospects that he could pull up instead of a Provorov, Sanheim, Moran, Konechny, Hogg, etc., to allow them to maturate more in juniors and on the I-Valley Phantoms. You got a guy like Peter Straka, Jordan Wheel, also Taylor Lear. These are three guys that can come up and they won't hit the salary cap as much as some of these other notable players that you need to pay out, like a Provorov, Sanheim, and Konechny.
Yeah, and that could be easy plug and play, and you can go down the season with that, and that could really help out at the end of the day. And we saw Peter Straka do that for a short period of time last year, and he wasn't bad when he was on the team. He wasn't bad at all. So not a bad situation. Jordan Wheel also was in the same spot.
Straka can score.
Yeah, Straka has been able to score. He did score in a couple occasions when he was in the Flyers jersey. So there's nothing wrong with that.
I am looking at the Flyers roster right now as far as contracts go. It's going to open up big time come the end of this season.
And that's my major point right there, is that this year we are still like handcuffed. We're not going to be next year. There'll still be some of those contracts that'll be looming, but there won't be as many. And then we can say, okay, we got some room to work with finally here.
Right. Boyd Gordon, Pierre-Edouard Belmar, Chris Van de Velde, Mark Streit, Michael Delzato, Nick Schultz, Steve Mason, Michael Neuwirth. They all become unrestricted free agents at the end of this year.
Mm-hmm. And we can easily say that only 2 of them, out of all the names you just said, are most likely going to get another shot, and that would be MDZ. I think we can safely say that, and Michael Neuwirth.
Right.
That's it. I can't think of anybody else.
You could, depending on the season Mason has, you can make an argument for Mason.
You can make an argument for Mason. Yeah, you can do that. I'm not going to say you can't make an argument for Mason. So 3.
Right, and the tandem was strong, but also you can maybe make a move with one of them because you have an Anthony Stolarz, you have a Carter Hart waiting in the wings or whatever. But to your point, Brian, that after this season you get, free of some of these contracts, maybe that allows the Flyers as an organization and Ron Hextall in particular to be a little patient. Maybe not make that deal and allow one more season in the minors for all these kids and then really rock it out in 2017-18. You want to try to win now, certainly, but you got to build for the future too.
Oh, absolutely, and
Agreed.
it's not a very easy process because you could tell from even the way that the teams were built in the West, which is what Hextall's really trying to do here in Philadelphia, which is brilliant in my opinion. You saw how it was with the Ducks. The Ducks first came into the league. They had veterans, but they had a lot of okay players at best when they first started.
Right, I believe they were part of the expansion draft.
Yeah, they were, and they weren't bad, but they weren't great. And they clearly showed in the standings. They were like last place for like a couple of years. But then you started to see their young players start to come in. You got your Teemu Selanne then came to town, and then you had more of those. You started seeing them build a
Paul Correa,
you started to see that team start to just churn out these really good teams to the point where I don't think the Ducks have had a losing season in quite some time. I mean, we can look back in their history. It's been a while since they've had a losing season. It's been a
shortened season was a bad year.
Well, yeah, the shortened season, but that's mostly because of the shortened season. I think
they just played like garbage that entire season.
A lot of teams played like garbage in that shortened season. It was a really weird year that year. But overall, though, in a full 82, it's been a long time since we've seen Anaheim have a horrible year. I mean, yeah, Anaheim didn't have a great year last year. They kind of had that really bad period. But then they shot straight up, and you saw, like, okay, then that was just a rough patch. But you could see it with the Western teams. L.A. the same way. Team that floated in mediocrity forever. Then they built this machine, and now look at them. All the teams in the West have been building all these great teams. That's what he's trying to do here, and that's a very slow process. That's not quick. That was not quick at all.
Yeah, right?
I mean, seriously. But one thing I do want to ask you guys, how about this? If Ron Hextall, you're in Ron Hextall's shoes, there's no salary cap. Let's say the NHL lockout never happened, and say the salary cap is non-existent, and you're still playing all these players, lots amount of money. Do you think that Hextall's as patient with these prospects if there's no salary cap? Or do you think he's like, screw it, the old guys are gone, we're bringing them up now, and we're paying them tons of money so that they can thrive right now in the Flyer system? Or do you think that they keep them down in the Phantoms a little longer than usual? Or do you think they keep them around just around the same era?
I don't think he's going to do anything different. I think he's got his strategy, and I think he's doing it the way that he wants to do it, regardless of money. You don't want to bring some of these guys up too early. You don't want to wait forever for some of them either. But I think as far as the prospects go, I don't think we're going to see much different because, again, you have so many guys in certain positions. Like defense, you can't bring up a Provorov. You can't bring up a Moran because they're not going to play every day. You want to give them a chance to play every day so they can continue to grow.
I got you on that one. So what about you, Rob?
You know, here's what you would see would be different. You would see maybe some of these guys definitely coming up mid to late season to get some NHL experience, especially if, let's say, the Flyers were to have a worse off season and fall out of the, out of the playoff picture. But in the end, no. Anytime he's asked about the prospects in an interview, he always says he's not ready yet. He's not ready yet. We saw this case history in L.A., and we're seeing it again here now. This is his philosophy. I think he really believes that a player really isn't ready to play at the NHL level till maybe age 22, 23. I think he really believes in the system and how you build up a player from juniors all the way up to the NHL. He's never once said, "Oh, we're not bringing him up because of the salary cap." I've never heard him use that as a reason. So if there were no salary cap, no, I think he would definitely abide by the same idiom, but I think it might allow him to maybe bring up a guy when he can, just to give him a little bit of experience as a part of that maturation process.
Okay, then. That's interesting. Because I look at it this way, like with the salary cap not being around, you could, if I had the same prospects in my camp, what I would do basically is I'd take a look at my defensive roster and I'd say, okay, who's got a contract coming up this year? You're gone. I'm bringing up Sam Morin. And then you're gone. Bye-bye. Sanheim's coming up the next year. Just the lower defensive men, not the top defensive pair. You keep them. But the guys below them, you're like, you're gone. Sorry. But, you're not no Travis Sanheim and you're not no Sam Morin, so bye-bye. That's how I would have approached that if there was no salary cap, because I wouldn't need to worry about this. Oh, well, you can't bring them up because of salary cap reasons. You can't bring them up because there's no room on the team officially. You'd be like, screw it. We can do whatever we want. Yeah. You can't hold us back because of it, So I'm just going to do whatever I want. I enjoy it.
I'm above the law.
Yeah. And that was too, because the Flyers always used to act like, back in the day, the Flyers always used to act like they were above the law back then, because you know how we were. Yeah. Wheeling and dealing, man. We were going and making teams out of nothing and just like, hey, we're just going to go make a Stanley Cup team right now. Unfortunately, it bit us in the ass, but, it was fun. It was fun back in the day. But anyway, so that was it for the Flyers training camp talk. When we come back, it'll be time to talk about some WWE wrestling on the other side. But first, let me talk to you guys about the BMW of Atlantic City. They've challenged their sales team, which means you save. They must sell 100 vehicles. Right now, lease a certified pre-owned elite 2016 BMW 320i with xDrive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City, easy to get, 2 minutes off of exit 37 of the Parkway. They are online at www.bmwatlanticcity.com, and you can give them a call at 609-568-9200. We'll be right back here on A2DRadio.com. A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet, located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey, with over 40 years of customer experience giving the latest in uniforms and equipment to sports enthusiasts of baseball, softball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, and much more. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or send them an email at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit their website at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all of your sporting needs.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
Hey, do you consider yourself the next Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, or Jordan Spieth? Well, head on out on November 5th at Valley Brook Country Club in Blackwood, New Jersey for A2DRadio.com's first ever Real Talk Invitational. $125 per person to enter, teams up to 4 members, and it includes all you can eat and drink and contests including longest drive, putting competition, closest to the pin, and the hole-in-one contest. Once again, it's November 5th at Valley Brook Country Club in Blackwood, New Jersey. The guys here at A2DRadio.com hope to see you there.
Say hello to the WWE Talk. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And we are brought to you by none other than the Scanzano Sports Center, located in 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com.
You are fired up today, my friend.
Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? It's the Hockey Happy Hour.
That's right.
Yeah. The real show here on A2DRadio.com.
Drink them up, boys. Smoke them if you got them.
Absolutely. That's what happy hour is all about. And speaking of happy hour, is anyone else happy? Because the boss is back. That is right. Sasha Banks is back. It's awesome.
I wasn't happy at first, man. The way she came out. Now, first of all, she tweeted out earlier in the day that she would be appearing on Raw and unfortunately has some bad news. And then she came out and really somber looking, giving the speech about, giving credit to Trish and Lita paving the way, and that, there's no more bra and panties matches, although I hate that. But it's a good point when you're talking about a female trying to be, held seriously and competitive in a man's sport, and the development of the women's division and the women's championship. And the way she was building it up sold all of us that she was retiring. And then all of a sudden, Dana Brooks goes to talk some smack, and she just throws him right in that move.
Right into the bank statement.
Statement. I always want to call it the Crippler crossface because that's what it really is.
Better known as the Crippler crossface.
Yeah. But no, I think it's better known as the bank statement because of the ill-fated life of Chris Benoit.
Yeah, that is definitely not something WWE likes to talk about. Actually, they don't even like to acknowledge it.
Yeah,
apparently, Chris Benoit doesn't exist. Neither does Hulk Hogan either.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you can do that, WWE, because, you control our minds, dumbasses. Anyway.
But to me, I mean, that was the only reason to watch Raw last night. I as a whole, I did not like Raw. I don't think the Cruiserweight division can come soon enough for Raw. But, I mean, that was one of the highlights was hearing from her, know that she's going to be back. And how is that going to work out in the whole women's championship scene?
Now, I've been saying, I said this to you guys off mic, and I still think they should do this just to piss people off. This is a Paul Heyman move right here. What you do is you do a fatal 4-way match at Clash of Champions. You have Sasha Banks facing Charlotte, facing Bayley versus Dana Brooke. And at the end of the match, Charlotte's down in the middle of the ring, out cold from somebody else's finishing maneuver. Dana Brooke comes over and pins her and wins the women's title just to piss everybody off. I would love to see the fans just get so angry and so upset. I'd love to see all the smarks throw their freaking beers into the crowd. That would be awesome. That would be the greatest thing ever. I'd be like, that is good television right there. Pissing people off. That is fun.
Yeah, but Dana Brooke is such a nobody. She doesn't do anything.
And that's what would piss people off.
In her first match ever in the WWE, you're going to give her a belt? I know it's not really her first match, but
No, but you get the point. The point is that's the point. I want people to get angry at that. I want people so pissed that they tune in next night on Monday Night Raw because she loses the belt. And there you go. Raw's ratings fixed right there, right off the bat, just to see Dana Brooke lose the women's title.
that's like giving Eva Marie the belt. There's no point to it. It's stupid.
I know, but the point is to piss people off. Because since WWE is doing it accidentally, might as well do it deliberately, you know?
Well, this was derived from the whole theory of, well, now that Sasha Banks is back, what does that do for the whole Charlotte-Bayley rivalry that was leading up to a championship title shot for Bayley? So it's like you got to have Sasha Banks in the fold. So it's like, okay, it goes from a two-way to a three-way. That's hot. And then eventually he's talking, hey, why not make it a fatal four-way with Dana Brooks, and she winds up winning the belt. I'm like, dude, that would piss so many people off.
That would piss me off. I don't know if I'd ever watch it again.
And you see, that's why I do it, because it'd be so much fun to piss people off.
Yeah, but you realize you piss enough people off, you lose ratings, you lose viewers, you lose viewers, eventually we'll lose to WWE.
So you know what? WWE needs a smack in the ass, quite frankly.
I don't disagree.
But here's the thing, though. This is also something I was saying to Rob off mic. You know what's killing Raw? It's the fact that they're trying to be edgy, but they're not allowing themselves to be edgy. You remember how we always used to say how TVPG is slowly killing the WWE product? Well, unfortunately, that came back to haunt us, didn't it? Because guess what? The guys on Raw are trying to be funny. They're trying to be creative. They're trying to entertain people. Here's the problem. The New Day thing couldn't go far enough. The old day couldn't go far enough. If the club was allowed to do half the things they could have done in Japan, they'd be one of the most entertaining tag teams in the entire WWE. Not only that, think about the possibilities that could have been done with not just the old day, but with the entire Enzo Amore big cast scenario that they did. The whole going into labor thing. Do you realize how many great directions they could have taken that if they were TV 14?
Oh, yeah.
That would have been so much better. I feel like, if you're going to be edgy, go all the way. Don't half-ass it. That's what's really killing it, is they're half-assing their edginess. Don't do that. If you're going to be edgy, go edgy and do it. It'll be TV 14. But SmackDown will be your TV PG straight-up wrestling show, and you still don't lose that audience.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like SmackDown's a little bit more edgier than Raw is.
Which is a problem because SmackDown doesn't really do anything all that edgy. They just do straight-up tough wrestling matches, which is great. I like seeing that. But you want Raw to be that, entertaining, balls-to-the-wall show, right? Go all the way with it.
And you'll still keep, parents are still going to let their, 14 or younger still tune into Raw on Mondays, even though it's PG-14. I mean, shoot, most tweens or pre-tweens are watching rated R anymore. You know what I mean? Let's face facts. But, with good parent upraising, they'll still watch the PG-14. You take those bigger risks. You make that the edgier show, and then you keep SmackDown at a PG level, or do it the other way around. Either way, one of them should be a little bit more risque, while the other one's still straight up wrestling. I think it would work out famously.
So I do have one question, and they didn't show it at the end of the match. Did Enzo Amore ever take his baby back from that fan? Or
No.
Did that fan have a baby?
I think the fan still has the baby. I think she officially has adopted little baby Soft.
Yeah.
Just curious about that.
I just thought
I saw that because he gave the baby over and kissed the baby, and I didn't see anything after that.
Well,
maybe during the commercial.
Maybe, hopefully. If not, then he needs to be brought up on abandonment charges.
I would have been that one fan that would have been at the end of the match. He would have even lost. Enzo, you forgot your baby.
Here.
Right.
Enzo, go deep.
Go deep, yeah.
Well, what I got to say, though, is that, I've always been a fan of Soft. There's no, ifs, ands, or buts about it. Big Cass, Enzo. But they're even getting better. Like, last night, the entrance was really sharp. I think that was arguably the best. We got a couple of haters.
Couple
of haters over here. From Enzo, by far the best, and I think it met one Mike Mataraki from AM and the PM specifications, where he always does a hashtag couple of haters whenever I'm hating on any Philadelphia team.
That's funny.
So I think it was a great shout out for him, and I thought it was very funny. Give him a little more room to be edgier, and the sky's the limit.
And now here's one thing that really angered me about Raw. Two things. First, Titus O'Neil and Darren Young. This is a replay of 2 years ago, first of all, for anyone who was watching WWE at that time. I sadly was. And also, it's boring. I don't care. Like, seriously. I mean, in all fairness, congratulations, Darren Young, to being the first openly gay wrestler. Congratulations. That doesn't change the fact that you're boring. Yeah. You are boring, dude. No one cares what you do. Oh, he came out like a couple years ago. He came out as the first openly gay wrestler. Yeah. But anyway, but still.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. But point is, it doesn't change the fact that he's boring. He doesn't sell. He's not interesting. And not only that, Titus O'Neil is boring too.
Oh, I got it, man. I see a nice comparison with Roman Reigns. When you're trying to be what you're not, people don't buy into it. The minute Roman Reigns started being more of himself in the character, people start responding favorably. So, Darren Young, be yourself. Give a little good game. On the right, you know what I mean? Like, embrace your sexuality and implore that. That could be entertaining.
Make
right?
him the next Rico of the WWE.
There you go.
Have him be the gal pal of all the girls in the back and have him dress up. I'm sorry, that's just that.
I wouldn't want anybody to be another Rico.
What? The stereotypical gay guy.
He was horrible.
What? He was funny. I thought he was funny personally. It was funny when he used to act, like grab the ref's ass and shit. Like, I thought that was funny because he used to bother the shit out of everyone. Right. I thought it was funny.
Can we get another Hurricane Helms or something?
There you go.
Stand back. There's a hurricane coming through.
Yeah, let's get another one of those guys, like the fake superhero.
With Mighty Molly.
Yeah. Oh, Mighty Molly.
Yeah. Bring back a Mighty Molly. So, okay, who would Dana Brooke be the Mighty Molly? She'd be the most irrelevant character on the face of the planet, and she'd just be the sidekick of whomever the new Gregory
I feel
Helms
like
is.
Eva Marie is the most irrelevant character
Oh, okay,
ever.
so she's the new Mighty Molly. Okay.
Dana Brooks looks like she ate Mighty Molly. Let's face facts. That dunk of hers. Either that or Nia Jax, one or the other.
What did Sasha call her? What was it? Mighty Mouse or something like that.
I forget what she called her.
She called her after she gave her the bank statement.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I forget what she called her. It was pretty funny though.
Very well could be.
So now I got to ask you guys. This kind of angered me when I saw this happening on Raw. They basically copied what SmackDown did. Where they teased a triple threat for their pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do that. Don't copy SmackDown in your main event. Just make it straight up. Kevin Owens, I was about to call him Kevin Steen. Kevin Owens going up against Seth Rollins for the WWE Universal Championship. And yes, that is still the single dumbest name for a championship on the face of this planet. But with that being said, though, I'm confused. What part of Raw was supposed to be different from SmackDown? Because I felt like they kind of mirrored each other in boring moments.
Yeah, they might be copying each other in all the wrong ways. I don't know. I mean, I do see the symmetry there. I think maybe it's to, kind of keep them both on the same page. You know what I mean? Because it does seem like when you're watching Raw and you're watching SmackDown, that it almost seems like two different wrestling organizations. And maybe they're like, okay, it's getting a little too different here, so maybe we need to close the gap a little bit, but that's not the way you do it, where you repeat like the same thing with just different pieces and different wrestlers,
Yeah, you don't do that. You just need to they need something. They need somebody to come and shake things up. They really do. Now,
speaking of SmackDown Live, they're going to have their first pure SmackDown pay-per-view this Sunday with Backlash. The main event being Dean Ambrose versus AJ Styles for...
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, the WWE World Championship. Yeah, you got to differentiate because there's World Championship and Universal Championship now.
Yeah.
So gay. Anyway, but I just want to get your guys' thoughts. Who do you think wins?
I hope Ambrose, because I want to see him hold the title on the SmackDown event I'm going to next on the 13th.
Okay.
I'm thinking Styles wins it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they go with Styles.
They really want him to be the face that runs the place?
I do. I think he should. He just beat John Cena at SummerSlam. I mean, next step's WWE title. They don't give him the belt. Then I'm like, then why the hell he beat John Cena for?
Right.
That just makes that win pointless at the end of the day.
Now, I wanted Brian to see Dean Ambrose because I love Dean Ambrose as well.
He's cool.
He's very cool. I think he's better as a guy going for a belt than actually being the belt holder. I think AJ Styles would make for a good belt holder.
It doesn't matter either way.
Yeah.
That's just my preference.
No, I got you.
But it'll be fun.
It will be. It
It's
will be
supposed to be a
definitely
big 6-man tag match. It's supposed to be like Randy Orton, Dean Ambrose, and John Cena versus Bray Wyatt,
AJ Styles.
AJ Styles, and whoever John Cena's fighting.
But another thing that's going to be interesting in Backlash, they're going to crown their first ever tag team champions and their first ever women's champion, which they've done such a brilliant job of making the titles look exactly the same as the other shows, which should be interesting. But that will do it for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We hope everyone had a good time, as we always do. And once again, we are brought to you by the Scanzano Sports Center. They are located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. That was not Sports Outlet. Anyway, that's it for us here on the Hockey Happy Hour. I'm Matt Sassuti. That's Rob Popovia. That's Brian Daly. And we will see you guys next week on A2DRadio.com.